is to consider that before we ask you to pass a motion on Monday. So this is just a preview. It'll be an agenda item on Monday's council meeting. With regards to some of our grant programs, this week we received information from the province and federal government that there will be some flexibility with regards to the ISIP stimulus funding. This was the funding that was targeted to be completed this fiscal year to create jobs in the community. There will be a 2-year extension on completion of projects, so we'll have until December 2023 to complete those projects. New projects, should there be any savings found, to make sure we maximize the full allocation of funding, and we have some time to do that. This doesn't change any of our current plans. We're on a good path to get most of the projects are going or shortly will be going, but it does give us some flexibility on the back end and also some time should there be some savings to make sure we maximize those dollars. From GIS and ITS, they supported the business licensing portal that went live on May 1st. They also have informed me that the 2021 satellite photos have been captured and will be uploaded shortly. It's a good way to see the growth and the change in our community through our GIS mapping. Comms and Marketing wanted to remind everyone that the first phase of the budget engagement remains open for feedback until May 24th. You can share your feedback at engage.cityofgp.com. And from Corporate Efficiency in the Contact Center, in preparation of the implementation of the new customer relationship software early this summer, we have discontinued C-Click Fix. That's a reporting tool we've had since 2011, which has since that time received 6,551 requests from the community for service, things like potholes and such. In the interim, until the new system rolls out in the summer, residents are just asked to call the contact center, email the contact center, and they will address their concerns. This is just a short-term measure until the new, much more robust system goes live this summer. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Shane, for updating. Any question for Shane for the report? I don't see none. We move to the next item, 3.2. Bylaw C 1435, the special recognition services tax levy in the Pinnacle, which is we do every year, levy for that fountain water. And I ask Wade Neal to update and make a recommendation, please.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Minhas. Of course, my name is Wade Nellis. I'm the Traffic Operations Supervisor here for the City of Grande Prairie. And I'm here to present the report on Bylaw C 1435, which is the Special Recreational Services Tax Levy in Pinnacle Ridge. As Chair Minhas mentioned, this goes ahead every year. This is now the 11th time that it's come forward. A bit of background, prior to 2010, we funded the operation and maintenance of the pond fountains in Pinnacle Ridge. The funding was found not to be sustainable. Local notice was given to local residents indicating to be removed. The neighborhood association rallied, gained 700 signatures on a petition, and at that point, a levy was instituted to pay for the ongoing maintenance of the fountain. It started at $20 a household and was raised to $25 in 2016 due to the increase in ongoing costs. So we have completed stakeholder engagement for the last several weeks through our social media and communications department. We've been advocating for input from the landowners in the area. We haven't received any feedback to date, as this is an ongoing popular program. And I haven't received any direct inquiries about it. Also, we haven't seen anybody register as delegations to speak against it at this meeting or thus far for the council meeting upcoming. So the revenue for the levy comes out to $16,700, which is 668 homes at $25 apiece. And as you can see, in 2018, 2019, and 2020, the costs have been slightly lower. We've been fortunate that we haven't had any significant incidences of vandalism or natural damage over those years. So it's been coming in slightly under budget for the past few years, and a small surplus has been building in that account. So in conclusion, administration recommends that committee recommend to council to give 3 readings to bylaw C-1435. And I would be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you very much, Wade. And okay, go ahead, Dylan.
Great. Thank you, Chairman Haas. Ms. Nellis, I'm just curious about, we've got a fairly substantial reserve fund attached to the special tax. Is there a plan in terms of, we know what end-of-life equipment timelines and costs might be, or any other reason for that reserve fund?
Absolutely. Through the chair, thank you for your question, Councillor Bressie. So this reserve has built up to a total of $33,340 so far. There have been years in the past that have seen significant spikes in terms of, like I said, vandalism damage, natural damage that we haven't seen for a little while. However, I think you'll see that when we present this report again next year, that we'll start investigating options with the community to possibly upgrade the fountain at this location to do a more aesthetically pleasing water feature. But administration thought it prudent to carry on the status quo for 1 more year to build that to a healthy level.
Great. No, I appreciate that. To be honest, I'm hesitant about approving the special tax, that reserve fund, but I also realize that we're doing a lot of work as an organization to get to actually properly plan our asset management. We're right in the middle of that phase up right now. So I'm glad to hear that's very much on the radar. And I appreciate that we're just kind of at an uncomfortable point as an organization where we're just ramping up those programs. So I look forward to talking about this next year.
Thank you, Dylan. Any other question, Wade?
Thanks, Chairman Haas. I'm just wondering, somebody lives in O'Brien. I drive by this on that road every day, and I think one of the things that I appreciate about it is that fountain and that park being an open green space along a corridor. And so I struggle sometimes with why the people of Pinnacle have to pay for this all on their own. And I just wonder if there's ever another funding source that's been looked at through parks or whoever else or administration that this kind of feels like it's a bit of a community enhancement feature to me as well. So just wonder if administration could speak to, have we ever looked at other funding sources other than it being from the residents?
Wade?
I'm sorry, I don't have the information at my fingertips as far as whether other alternative funding sources have been looked at, but I could definitely try to find out and report back.
Okay. No worries for today. I guess just something that when it comes to, if it gets approved today and comes to council, just something I'll be asking there. So.
Sure.
Thank you, Wade. Kevin?
Yeah, I was on council when this first come to council, and there was a lot of people that were very interested. It's their kind of feature for the city, and they were overwhelmingly supportive of supporting the $20 fee at that time. There was one individual that came in and he thought it was a burden. $20 was too much, but that's the only person that I can recall that spoke against funding the fountain. And a couple times over the years, we had delegations come in very supportive of this. So, it works out to about $2.25 a month, something like that. And they felt that was pretty cheap to support something so beautiful in their neighborhood. And I'm not on the side of one or the other. I'm just saying that this is what I remember over the last 11 years.
Thank you, Kevin, to updating. And with my knowledge, when we started, I think it was at the end of my first term, it was because neighborhood county, they put the money together. That's the idea came out. But a lot of other places, they were shut down because of there was no other fund available. That was a great thing that Pinnacle they did that time, and it's carrying on. It looks beautiful park. Thank you. So on that, if there's any other question, Shane?
I would just comment, as this is ongoing operational funding, that I think the most appropriate place would be during fall budget deliberations for a council decision whether they wanted to include this in the ongoing base budget. I'd say at this juncture that this is the most appropriate funding sources. This is a request of the community, but the fall would be the appropriate decision point for council on whether this was ongoing, built into the base.
Thank you, Shane, for that upgrading. So any other question on this one? If it's not, I'm looking for the motion. Eunice?
All right, Kevin had his hand up there. Did you want to go ahead, Kevin?
You go ahead, Eunice.
Go ahead, Eunice.
So moved.
All right, motion on the table, and I don't have the automatic voting, but I'll go in favor.
Hey, bonus.
Yeah. Arlene?
3.3.
Yeah.
Councillor Minhas, that motion carried unanimously.
Oh, thank you, Arlena, because I didn't see that one. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much. And the next one is 3.3, bylaw C 1438, election bylaw, which is this year's election. And I think, Arlene, you can update. There's a few changes in there. Could you please?
Thank you, Chairman Haas. Good morning.
Yeah.
I'm here this morning to present Bylaw C 1438, being a new elections bylaw. This bylaw is written to replace the current bylaw that Council passed in 2020. And this one aligns with the current Local Authorities Election Act that had seen several updates all the way up to January 1st of this year. Highlights of the changes that we made for this bylaw do include some language around authority of the deputy returning officer and the returning officer. It also addresses the use of special ballots in this upcoming election and providing alternate methods of conducting advanced vote, institutional voting, and elector assistance at home voting with the use of special ballots if necessary. And with that, administration is recommending that committee consider recommending council give three readings to this bylaw. And I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Arlene, to updating. And Kevin O'Toole.
Yeah. I have one question, and it's regarding the nomination day is now 4 weeks before election day instead of 6 weeks. Was that a provincial thing, or is that something that I can't recall on the change when it was made and how it was made?
Thank you, through the chair. That is a provincial change to the Local Authority Election Act. The province moved from a 6-week window between election day and nomination day to a 4-week window.
Okay. I've had a number of people ask me, and I said, I don't remember ever voting on it, so it must have been a provincial thing. And so thank you for the clarification. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Arlene, for answering. Is there any other question on this one? If it's none, I'm looking for the motion, please. Kevin O'Toole.
I move that committee recommend council give 3 readings to bylaw C-1438 being the elections bylaw.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor? I don't have the automatic, so I'm in the favor. And I see Kevin's hand is favor, and I wonder if this one worked this time. Arlene, you got to tell me it's unanimous.
Councillor Minhas, that motion passed unanimously.
Thank you very much. Motion get passed. And we move into 3.4, Standing Committee meetings, public access to Imtiazun. I think this is due to COVID and they can't come into the. Arlene, again, please.
Thank you, Chair Minhas. So this report is written to support committee's direction to administration back in March to bring back options for consideration to support our current temporary process of video recording standing committees and what that might look like as a permanent solution. And because our current protocols have truly enhanced public access to our standing committee discussions through video recordings available on our website, as well as through live broadcasting like we're doing today. This is allowing public members to be able to attend our meetings virtually and not have to come down to the chamber and attend in person. This is truly increasing accessibility, and it supports our social sustainability framework. It does align with Council's strategic priorities, and it enhances transparency as we strive to achieve an open government culture. So in preparation for this report and presentation today, administration has reviewed the procedure bylaw and has provided proposed amendments in support of the direction of this committee, as well as in support of updating and modernizing some of our practices and procedures that we're currently using. For instance, moving away from teleconferencing attendance into this remote access attendance platform via Zoom. And two options moving forward have been presented for Council Committee's consideration. However, due to the significant costs associated with option A and our current process that we are using through the technology in the chamber, administration is recommending consideration of option B. And with that, I'm open to any questions.
Thank you, Arlene. Any question for Arlene on this issue? I don't see any hands up. So if it's none, I'm looking for the motion this time. Oh, Dylan, right on. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I can't make a motion. I don't have any questions, but just a couple comments. One, I really do appreciate that we're having this conversation. I hope that we'll support changes of some sort that make committee meetings always viewable. I think it's really important for our own work and being able to go back and get information, but it's also really important for public transparency. So really appreciate this conversation happening. One small concern and one big concern I have is participation via remote access. I hope that doesn't become the norm when we're allowed to meet in person. I hope that councillors still make every effort and to attend in person, and that the vast majority of meetings are in person. And I don't know if that requires something in the bylaw or the code of conduct saying that that's the expectation of councillors, or if that's just the culture that we seek to build. But I do have a little bit of worries about making it almost too easy and too common for people to call in. But again, maybe that's a culture thing. Maybe nothing actually needs to change in the written bylaws. A bigger concern I have, though, is a small one. It's requiring delegations to register by Friday at noon is a problem to me. We often don't have our agendas published till Friday at noonish. And to be asking somebody to say they want to come to City Hall to present before they've even had a chance to sit down with an agenda is disturbing to me. And I know that administration makes every effort to accommodate last-minute delegations, and I'm sure that would be the continued practice of our current administration. But at the same time, I'd like to give people personally, I'd love to give them till the day before to come and register as a delegation, but at least they need time after the agenda gets published, in my opinion, to be able to come and register. So that's a change that I hope we'll make to these proposals.
Thank you, Dylan. And Arlene, any questions on this one you can say?
Thank you, Councillor Minhas. We are open to any direction from this committee on any further amendments to the procedure bylaw if necessary.
Oh, thank you. That satisfies you, Dylan?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't move amendments, but I certainly will at council if committee doesn't.
Okay. Calvin and then Eunice.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak on Dylan's, Councillor Bressy's potential sway of making someone talk, but I do know that in the past councils, because somebody was called away at the last minute or become preoccupied with something, I'm not going to say more important, but last minute, I know that if we would have had remote voting, meetings, it probably would have changed a number of decisions that we had made originally. And so I was on the fence, but I spent a lot of time thinking about this and contemplating. I do truly believe that this is the way of the future. We got to think positive about that. And I have the same concerns as Councillor Bressy. I don't want this to be the norm that, I'm going to go to, Vancouver for the weekend and I'll just phone in. That's fine, but our seat is at the table, and I want that to definitely stand out. That if you have an emergency meeting or a business gets in, we're all part-timers here, but there is times when you're making a financial decision and you got to meet, and it happens to be that particular day. That there should be an option for you if you can skip out for an hour and get on the Zoom and make them, listen to the meeting and make your decisions and vote on a decision. Then this is a way better way to do business in the new world here. I really appreciate it. I know when I was down with COVID, I know I couldn't have left the house no matter what, but to find the energy to attend the Zoom meeting, I was still able to participate and give my point of view without affecting anybody else in the room. So I'm very looking forward to this bylaw being passed.
Thank you, Calvin, for updating, and I hope this doesn't get norm, but for emergency, that's okay to do it. Eunice, then Wade.
Thank you, Chairman Hess. I'd actually like to put an amendment on the table. I'd like to move that we amend Section 1E to say that someone register with Legislative Services no later than 12 noon on the day prior to the scheduled day of the meeting. So that would be the Monday. As the schedule stands now.
Okay, I think Wade was want to say before we go to the motion. Wade? And
no, that's why I'm fine with the motion. I was just going to say I agree with Councillor O'Toole and glad Councillor Bressy brought it up. But I think that virtual meetings have a role in the future. I'd love to see some bylaw provisions about how many meetings you're allowed to do that with, because as much as I think we'll get our attendance up, because I think several times I've been away with family and events where I would have been able to Zoom in, I'd be very concerned if that become more than about 25% of some of these meeting times. Appreciate health and different things, but I think if we're going to operate a city and we're going to try to be community builders, I don't think that happens over Zoom. I think that a hybrid approach is great, but I would probably want to see something that there's a maximum amount. The city's doing a great job now tracking how many meetings we're all attending, and they have an attendance record. It might be just another one to make sure there's a check mark beside it saying, out of your attendance, how much was virtual and live, just to make sure that we're getting the right mix in there. So just my comments on that.
Thank you, Wade, but that was a great comment. That's what we are all in agree. And Jackie, please.
Thanks, Chairman. Sorry, just a question for, just getting, back to my scribe here. Section 1E. So to strike 1E, or so then it will be, so you don't have, I'm sorry, I'm confused. Just help me out here. So you want to strike noon and insert noon the day of, so people can let legislative services know the day of that they're coming by committee. Is that your intent, Councillor Friesen?
No, I said no later than 12 noon of the day prior.
Friday, yeah.
Meeting.
Okay, so I just think it's incorrect on our scribe. So just to Councillor Bressy's comments, I agree. I think that, in Schedule C, it notes that, the reasons that you have to be there. At some point, maybe it does need to be mentioned in the code of conduct, but I think that, with the reasons that you're allowed to miss, and with the fact that there's a protocol of how we let people know that we need to call in for a meeting, I'm hoping that with those parameters that people won't abuse it. So I appreciate those comments, and I think that it's important with this amendment that people are not negligent of this opportunity, because it's truly an opportunity for information, not an opportunity for people to not do their job full-heartedly. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Jackie. So now we go back to motion is on the table to amendment section E.
There we go. Yeah.
The Friday, and if any comments on that one? If it's none, all in favor? I'm in the favor because I can see and I don't see this again. Arlene, you got to help me out to see if it's humanities. No, it doesn't work.
And that motion passes unanimously.
Motion carries unanimously. I can see it. Thank you very much. So motion carried. And the next one is our 3.5.
No, sorry, Councillor Minhas. That was just the amendment. Now we're voting on the motion.
Oh, on the real motion. Okay. Oh, okay. Look, Kevin, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll make the motion that committee recommend council give 3 readings to bylaw C-1299B, being an amendment to the procedure bylaw as amended.
Thank you, Kevin. Motion on the table. All in favor? I'm in favor. Yeah, motion carried unanimously. Thank you, Kevin. And then we can move on. Sorry about that. I missed that part. 3.5, financial update, Barbara, for the first quarter. Daniel, I think she's going to give us some good news, but then we're going to probably have the questions. Thanks, Daniel.
Thank you, Chairman Haas. Good morning. So I am here today to provide committee with 2 updates. So first, just a brief update on the anticipated operating projections for the current fiscal year. And the second is an update on the 2022 budget process and the next steps. So we have almost completed the forecast for the first quarter of 2021, and we are seeing very similar trends to those that we saw in 2020. So of course, with COVID restrictions, facility closures, canceled events, we are experiencing one-time savings due to less required funding under these measures. So I will provide a full quarterly financial report to committee at the next meeting, and this will include all the relevant details that you normally see on a quarterly basis. However, at this point, I am expecting to present a year-end forecasted surplus in the range of $2.5 to $3 million for 2021. I will note it is still very early in the year, and forecasting likely will still change as new information evolves and new circumstances arise. So these savings that we are forecasting to see this current year are not going to be achieved in a post-COVID environment. So they are either directly or indirectly as a result of the city being unable to provide normal operating services due to COVID. We are currently in the development stage of the 2022 budget, and as always, we will work towards providing the most accurate budget required to provide the services that our citizens rely upon. However, the COVID-related savings cannot be fully considered, as those budgets will be needed upon reopening to support normal city operations. So next Monday at Council, we will be looking for a motion of direction on a tax rate change that Council wishes to see at deliberations later this year. administration recommends that the Consumer Price Index, referred to as CPI, be strongly considered when determining what taxes will be for 2022. CPI has a significant impact on our budget. It affects all of the goods and services that we procure, as well as the day-to-day living requirements for our employees. Currently, CPI is unstable during these times, and stimulus spending has the potential to drive that number up. This could affect both the 2021 forecast that I previously discussed, as well as future budgets. So we are watching closely and working with our investment team to try to prepare the most appropriate assumptions. At this time, CPI for 2021 and 2022 is being predicted at 1.9%. So it is our recommendation that we bring forward a budget for 2022 that sees taxes increase by no more than plus or minus 0.5% of CPI. This is a target range of 1.4% to 2.4% for 2022. So as mentioned, this will be brought forward again at Monday's council, and I will continue to provide committee with periodic budget updates as administration progresses through the development of the 2022 operating and capital budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel, for update. Any question for Daniel's update for Wade? Wade, go ahead.
Thanks, Chairman Haas. Just wondering on that, I know I was one of the, maybe the only council, but one of them was hoping to maybe find a report that we're going to get back to community living regarding the East Layer, the Revolution Place, and what we're going to do with that. And so when will we know, I know you're saying Monday, but on Monday, will we have more of a detailed number of the surplus and our Q1 financials completed, or just, sorry, I'm just confused about what's coming Monday, I guess, if we have that information coming.
Danielle?
Thank you, Chairman Haas. So the plan for Monday would be to do the recommendation for the 2022 operating tax change, and the full detailed quarterly report that will include all of the information on the projected surplus will come to committee next meeting on the 26th.
Okay. Any other question for Daniel? I got one, Daniel. You, in this budget, you considering, like, in case, I wouldn't say in case, but if we open up, say, second quarter fully, would that affect on this year forecast to the budget, or it will be strongly stay that way? Like, say, for July 1st or after July 1st, we open half the year for full capacity or three-quarter capacity. All the things there will be affected, this forecast?
Yes, so this preliminary forecast does assume that we'll be under kind of current scenario well into the summer. So maybe more of a normal last quarter of 2021. So if restrictions change, if we're able to open sooner than that prediction, then of course we would need to use some of these savings that we're forecasting to do so.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other question for Daniel from anybody? If it's not, we need the motion on this one. No motion? Okay, thank you. Well, if we're done with that one, and I think Shane can be update for outstanding items, please.
Thank you, Chairman Haas. Item 1141 was included in Arlene's report earlier this meeting, so that the item is complete. With that, our corporate services outstanding items list is at 0.
Thank you very much. Great work, Shane and your team, so that's perfect. So do we need the motion on this one or none? Okay, Kevin, you go ahead.
I move the committee receive the May 11th, 2021 outstanding items list as amended for information.
Thank you. Motion on the table. All in favor I'm in favor.
My computer is spinning around. I'm in favor.
All right. I think motion carried with unanimous. Thank you very much. With that, I think Cooperative Service Committee done. All committees are done for today. And you guys have a good lunch and enjoy your day.
Hi, everyone.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.